Good evening and welcome to the Johnny Cleveland podcast. It is a special Wednesday night edition of our podcast. Welcome to the show. And we have invited a wonderful guest here, a special guest tonight. I've mentioned the sports program or the website clevesporttalk.com, and I have the lead of that, the creator of this wonderful website, Zach Shafron. And glad to have you aboard. Welcome, Zach.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm excited. I have had the opportunity to get to write for your website for the last several months, and I've really enjoyed being able to do that. And I have some background in writing going way back, and so I've in addition to doing this wonderful, entertaining Johnny Cleveland podcast, I've had a chance to practice my writing skills again, even at my old age. So it's always nice to have young people. And Zach, thank you again for bringing me on board. I've really enjoyed writing for your publication. It's a great website, so check it out. I've got his banner. I'm going to add his little banner here. Special guest, Zach. From CleveSportTalk. Well, I didn't put the whole website there, but you get the drift. So again, this is the Johnny Cleveland podcast, and you can reach us on our tag on Facebook and on Twitter is jclevelandpod. We also have my email at jclevelandpod at gmail.com. And over at YouTube, you can type in Johnny Cleveland Podcast, and you can follow us. Please subscribe. Thanks, Zach. I know that you just started to subscribe to our podcast on YouTube. So thank you. I'm still waiting for my son, Alec, who's the hot YouTube star with his I'm Jabster website. He's promised me that he's going to share some video of his out and try to get us some more subscribers to the Johnny Cleveland podcast. So I'm waiting on that, Alec, if you're listening. But Zach, it's really nice to have you along. I like the gear you're wearing there. We're both representing. It's, I don't know if you have any rituals or things that you're suspicious of with Browns and victories. And I know we've talked in our chat with the group about some of those things. I know with the Browns having won now a playoff game, which is amazing, with the win over Pittsburgh. We can get into that here in a minute. But ever since they beat Pittsburgh at the end of the season, I've told myself I'm going to wear Browns gear every day, something Browns gear every day. So I don't know if you have any of those suspicions, but I've enjoyed getting to wear all this Browns gear because usually the Browns don't have very good seasons, and this has been quite a kind of a turn for the good. So do you have any superstitious sort of things you do before a game, like against the upcoming? Will you do anything like? I had to stand the entire time of the game. Like when I was watching the game Sunday night, I felt like I couldn't sit down because if I did, then something bad would happen to the Browns.
Well, one interesting thing is I feel like I can only wear one piece of Cleveland sports attire at a time.
Yes.
And so usually that isn't a big deal, but here we are with the coronavirus, and everyone has their mask.
Yeah.
A themed mask, whether it be, a TV show they like or a sports team. So that makes it a little bit more challenging because I don't like to overload the Cleveland sports gear. And another thing is, we've produced Cleveland Sports Talk shirts in the past. Yeah. And I'll never wear my own shirt anywhere. And I think part of that is like I have a fear someone who hates the site or has some type of beef with me will run into me with my shirt on, and they'll recognize me, and it'll start like a whole.
We don't want that. No.
Real quickly.
Yes.
The best thing, one of the best things that has happened is this girl who I went to high school with. Her name is Star. She's actually a reporter now.
Okay.
Not in the Cleveland area, but she's in the field.
Uh-huh.
I went to a long time ago. I went to Bob Evans for breakfast just on a Sunday morning with like my dad and his friend.
Uh-huh.
And then I see this girl who is the girl I was talking about, and
Yeah.
she's wearing a Cleveland Sports Talk shirt.
Oh,
And I didn't like tell her to wear the shirt or anything.
well,
It was
that's
just
right.
random. And I saw her there, and it was like the greatest moment ever. And
Oh,
we
how
went
wonderful.
over, and I'm like, nice shirt. And it was just really funny because, you know, we were great friends in high school. And so
Yes.
she bought a shirt, and she happened to
Oh,
wear it on that day. And I just thought that was funny.
that's a really
Speaking
good
of
story.
attire, yeah.
Well, can you kind of go back a little bit and share a little bit with the audience about clevesporttalk.com? I was impressed when you had shared out, like you were looking for people to write, and just I did a little, background on like your background, and if you want to share out about that. But I know you've been doing this for a long time, and
Yeah.
you're young right now. You're a year older than my oldest son, Alex. So I love the fact that you guys are all of you young people are very entrepreneur-like. So share a little bit about clevesporttalk.com, your background, like where you got your writing started and all of that. I think that's really a neat story.
Right. So let's see. First of all, I turned 24 in March, just to give you sort of a
Okay.
perspective.
I could be your father, but that's okay.
So what actually happened is it was about almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The 10-year anniversary of Cleve Sports Talk is coming up this May, I believe,
Yes.
around
Yeah.
then, sometime around then.
And wow.
And what happened is I've been a diehard Cleveland sports fan really since I was like 5 or 6 years old.
Right.
And what's interesting is neither of my parents or really my family in general. I mean, they like the teams, but they're not like diehards.
Okay.
So I kind of developed this passion on my own.
Yeah. Wow.
What would happen is I would post on Facebook under my personal name.
Right.
And I would post and post and post about the Cleveland sports teams and every game and this and that.
Yeah.
And
you were
people,
right? Middle school?
yeah,
Yeah.
right. And people would say to me, Zach, you post too much. You got to stop posting about Cleveland sports. They all suck.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I created this Facebook page, Cleveland Sports Talk, as like an I'll show you guys.
Right.
And I started posting on there instead of my personal Facebook.
Yes.
And I just kept posting and posting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as time went on, I realized, wait a second, I actually really enjoy doing this.
Yes.
And so I continued it. And even more time passed, and people suggested, hey, maybe you should start a website or something of that nature. Yeah. And so that's kind of how Cleve Sports Talk started. It was almost an accidental type of deal. Like, had nobody said anything about my original posts, I may never made the group and then may never made the website.
You've had some people follow. I mean, I know that you've had some, if you go Google your site and your background, there's some, people have talked to you when you were younger, especially it sounds like as you got this website going. And then even now, tell everybody, like you've got Twitter pages and you've got Facebook pages and you have this website and you get so many views. Can you give us a kind of a feel for that? How that has grown? Because I mean, when I've looked, you have thousands of subscribers or followers.
Yeah. So the website certainly grew over the years, and as well as the Twitter and Facebook pages too. And I would say that a big contributor to that was honestly when LeBron James came back to Cleveland.
Oh yeah.
The excitement level for the Cavs went from a 2 to a 100. Yeah. And everyone was just thrilled to have such a great basketball team again. And that really got the city excited about Cleveland sports. And of course, everybody is a Browns fan, and even though the teams have been bad for really my entire life, excluding like a year or two.
Yeah, I like your article you wrote this last one you wrote personally, and you talked about how you were the last time the Browns went to the playoffs in '94. You were 5, so and you vaguely remember.
The '94 I wasn't born yet. It was
you were okay.
2002. Well, 2003, but the 2002 season. Yeah.
So you weren't even born back in.
No, the last time they won a playoff game.
I should have realized that. Yeah, with your age.
Yeah. The last time they won a playoff game, I was not even a thought.
Right. I saw that. Yeah.
Right.
No, we have a lot of hope. But I really appreciate getting to come on board. You've got some great, talented people that write for you on the website. And you've got a lot of people that write from different perspectives. You got some of us old guys who write, and you've got a lot of young people, people that write about Cleveland, and but also people that are writing about the other teams around the league and in different sports. So I'm really impressed by it.
Well, thank you, and yeah, you've been a great addition, and it's been quite a journey. So I appreciate that.
I bet you're just like with everything that's been happening the last 3 weeks, the last month with the Browns. Now we're going to play our second playoff game, which is just a big treat considering what happened on Sunday. Just amazing. I wanted your take. I know I was flipping out here. I was posting little videos and sending them to family and friends where at the very beginning of the Pittsburgh game, you could not have scripted that game any differently than everything that happened to me as a Browns fan watching all these seasons like you have. It was completely opposite.
Right.
Do you ever watch a show, Seinfeld?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The episode about everything was opposite, and George was dating the girlfriend that was very popular, and he was doing everything the opposite. And so I always the game Sunday night was just completely the opposite of what we are accustomed to as Browns fans. And I was delirious. I was running around my condominium that whole 15-20 minutes. I could not believe it.
Well, right. The first play with the snap that went over Big Ben's head.
Oh, yes.
I was like, am I in a dream? Like, am I going to wake up and be like, oh man, this isn't real?
Right.
And I just, like I said, it was unfathomable for a start like that for any game, but let alone a playoff game.
Yes.
And there's a picture actually where it looks like Big Ben is close to recovering the ball in the end zone. Yeah. But the Browns were able to get the ball for the touchdown. And I think that play was huge, obviously, because it's a touchdown. But I just wonder if that snap was normal, if the game would have been completely different. And if who knows if
I agree. It's
won.
Yeah, so. I mean, there were so many things that it was really just totally opposite of what we all expect. But, the Browns have been playing very well offensively. We've talked about that throughout the season. I've written a lot. You've written a lot about Coach Stefanski. I wrote my article this last week about Stefanski again and that relationship with Baker Mayfield. And, early on, Stefanski is that leader that the Browns have been seeking for such a long time. And the same message was of one game at a time was being delivered last year by Freddie Kitchens, but it's so different now. And the players have completely bought into that because of that trust. The article I wrote, talked about, if you get a chance, read our articles on clevesporttalk.com. The idea that, Stefanski was in his basement Sunday night, right. And the Browns without their head coach, kind of like in my article I described. I was a school teacher when I was for many years, and I always freaked out when I would be gone and would have to write up substitute notes and would be panicked, be worried. How would my kids respond? there would be the occasion when I'd come back, there would be a kid or two that might have had some issues with the substitute. But for the most part, most of the kids did what they were asked to do. And Stefanski all year long has just built this program. And what's your thoughts about Stefanski and Baker and that whole concept?
Well, I just think that there are people that you're told you need to respect, and then there are people that you actually genuinely feel like you respect them, like from an internal standpoint. And I think if you compare Stefanski to Kitchens, I think the players actually respect Coach Stefanski versus Freddie Kitchens, where he is the head coach, but we just really don't respect him in the same way. And so I think that this type of leadership that came from Stefanski to his players, obviously he had proven himself as a coordinator in the past.
Yeah.
And
he's just to me, I call him Steady Eddie in my articles recently. That refers back to my old grandpa, who my dad would call Steady Eddie, or the brother that was related to my grandpa. And he's so like, you can't, like, I haven't seen, maybe you have you seen Stefanski at any point during interviews with the media or during games where he seems like really high or really low with his emotions?
No, he is cool, calm, and collected. And I think that's just another point to the respect thing with the players. And I think that they really like a coach that is sort of guarded and doesn't let his emotions get the best of him. Whatever he does, it's obviously working.
It helps that he gets to wear a mask all season.
That's true too. Yeah, it's actually.
So the Browns, what now?
You can't see his whole face because of the mask.
I've been interested with throughout the whole pandemic how, when we're wearing our masks, you really have to focus. I'm always about, when you look at people, you're looking at their faces. So now you're like really looking at like their eyes, and it's very interesting to try to perceive an emotion through the eyes. So I find that kind of an interesting side note on COVID. But
well, one other, and this is kind of a funny little side note, is when someone's wearing a mask, and for us guys it would be if a girl's wearing a mask, and you can't really tell if she's like actually attractive or if it's just she has nice eyes or whatnot.
Right.
And for girls, I'm sure it's the same with boys. And if you're going the other way, then it's the other way. But
yes,
yeah, it's
just funny. I'm married now, so I don't. We're so that's not an issue.
You don't have to worry about that. But for me, I'm still out there.
No,
any girls watching, I'm still.
That's right. Hey, Zach's a great guy. If you watch this, I have really appreciated your. You just have a real good knack for you're an excellent writer, and for you to be able to put together this website over the last decade and grow it to the point where you have a lot of people that you're getting how many viewers on your website a day right now? I've heard you've said what 2,000-3,000.
Yeah, during the playoff run for the Browns, it's like between 2,000 or 3,000 website views, and then I would say like on an average Joe Cleveland Indians, summer day, the goal is to get close to 1,000.
What should we expect this summer with the Cleveland baseball club?
I don't know. The trade was upsetting. I knew it was coming, but it was still very, very sad.
And losing
Carrasco was thrilling, and Carrasco was a great guy and a great pitcher too.
So have you had an opportunity to meet any of these players in what you've done? I wondered, like any of these athletes that we've talked about, have you had an opportunity to meet them here in Cleveland?
I've never gotten like the press pass per se, where you're in the interview room, like with the players.
Zach, I want you to help me. I want you to help me with that.
Oh yeah, I will help you. Don't worry. I never really like tried extremely hard to do that because my thing over the years always was to sort of be like the opposite of the regular press and like kind of a place where people could go to get away from just your average
Yeah,
Cleveland press and find a different perspective.
I
Uh,
like it. Thank you.
fans. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
We all have a kind of a unique way. A lot of us write a little differently. I think that that's a really cool thing. I've had a chance to read a lot of the other guys in the group and gals writing. Is Natalie part of the group? Is right? Natalie, is she one of your
Yes. Yeah.
Nat? I saw that they were on their own podcast earlier tonight too. And then there's Joshua. He has his
Yeah.
own Max.
Josh and I
What do we call
go
him?
way
Max, what is his name?
Josh?
Yeah, or Joshua, is it Matt? What is his YouTube?
Oh, Unger to the max.
Unger to the max.
Yeah, his last name's Unger, so it's to the max. Yeah, yeah.
That's cool. So let's well, we're still talking about the Browns a little bit. What do you think of the game coming up Sunday? I don't know if you know my background, Zach. I've mentioned on the podcast before, but I lived in Kansas for 26 years. I grew up here, but I went out to Wichita and had a family out there, and then my kids all have grown up, and I moved back, got remarried to my lovely wife Laura, and we have a blended family now. But I lived out there in Kansas, so I've been to 5 or 6 Chiefs games over the years. The Chiefs were always on TV. The Kansas City Royals were the team to always watch out there. So I was at the game in 2009 when Josh Cribbs ran back a couple kickoffs, and James Harrison for the Browns was the running back, and he had like 200 yards rushing. I don't know if you remember that game. But that was when the Chiefs still weren't quite real good. They weren't, and Browns were able to win that game. Almost got into a fight in the parking lot with those obnoxious Kansas City Chiefs fans. I have a lot of Chiefs fans that I used to work with that are teachers, like Chad and Bruce and Chris and all those guys, Randy, Isaiah. They all like to give me a hard time every day. Still, it's been 3 years since I lived there. So, but what's your take on the on the game coming up here in Kansas City?
Well, obviously, I think the Browns are the underdog. I don't think that takes a genius to say, but I do feel like the team certainly has a chance. And just like the Steelers game, I think the Browns are underdogs in that game too. And look how they played, and they won.
Yeah.
So this week in the NFL and the playoffs, what's interesting about football versus, say, the NBA or MLB even, is it's not a series, it's just one game.
Yes.
So you really just have to have one good night and your opponent one bad night, and then you advance.
Yeah,
and that's
kind of like what we saw Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say that's what the Browns did against the Steelers.
Yep.
And that's what they could do against the Chiefs again this week. Now, the way I think
important. I'm sorry, Zach. Do you think it's important for the Browns to get off to a good start like they did against Pittsburgh, or does that matter as much? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think they have to get off to a good start, just like the Pittsburgh game. Okay. But I feel like this game is going to be more of a back and forth sort of deal. It's not going to be like a blowout like the Browns did with the 28-0, which was incredible against the Steelers. I think it'll be back and forth. I feel like the Browns will put up a really good fight. And if I was a betting man, I would bet the Chiefs to win in a close one. But obviously, as a Browns fan, I want them to win. Yes. And I'm hoping that they win, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. And so
I think do you think it's going to be high scoring? I'm going back and forth between, is it going to be high scoring back and forth like you're suggesting, or could it be where, Cleveland does not get off to the hot start? Maybe they get a field goal. Maybe they take an early lead like that. Then Kansas City gets a touchdown. Then you're like 10-3. We're down. Maybe we get Baker to throw a touchdown some point in the second quarter. I'm just going back and forth.
It will be lower scoring than the Steelers game.
Yes,
but I don't think it will be like low scoring. I feel like it'll be a pretty average amount of points.
Yeah,
put up by each team. And
well, the weather's going to be nice out there too. It's going to be 50.
Yeah, that's going to be nice. Nice day. That's very, very big, a big factor in
yes.
as well. So I think that if the Browns can just hang in there, and I know you just mentioned get that early field goal, but if they can make that field goal a touchdown and get confidence in themselves, because they are playing the Super Bowl champs. So just like the Steelers game with the fumbled snap and the touchdown, that was your confidence booster. So they need something like that again to happen this week.
What if the game is close and Baker Mayfield, he's gained all this confidence, but the Browns are down, let's say 20-14. It's 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Wouldn't that not be monumental for Baker to construct a great drive, manage it, Chubb running a little bit, Kareem with a little screen pass, take all the time down to like 45 seconds, take the lead, and then somehow the Browns defense, I mean, you don't want to give the ball back to Mahomes, but I always wonder if they could get the lead and then the defense could do something and that would just seal the deal. Maybe that would, I'm dreaming, but then the Browns win it like 21-20 or something.
Well, that would be certainly an epic finish. I think Baker has the tools to lead the team. Yeah, I think he's proven that in these past, definitely last week, but really the back half of the season.
Has he not been phenomenal? I mean, since October 24th, 19 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't made many mistakes, and that's huge. And so if he could do that again on Sunday, I think the Browns definitely have I keep saying a chance.
Yeah, well, now with Mahomes, with the Kansas City quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, I read a stat today that he has not lost a game this season he's been within a possession of none of his losses ever in his career have been less than one possession, like an 8-point difference. Like if you go back and look at all the games that the Chiefs have lost, which aren't a lot, they were always within striking distance. So I wonder how that will. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I know some of my friends in Kansas think it is. Mm-hmm. They've had a long time. Don't you think do you think it's an advantage? I think it is that the Browns just played Pittsburgh. I think Kansas City has been sitting around for 2 weeks and Mahomes hasn't played in 3. I don't see them. I've watched them play this year. They're not they've got great talent and they warm up, but maybe Cleveland can jump on top of them with that early touchdown.
Right. Yeah, I think the Browns have an advantage, like you were just saying, because they just came up this thrilling win against their rival.
Yes.
And they still get the week off. So it's not like it's a short week or anything.
Right.
And I definitely feel like it's advantage Browns, at least with momentum. Now the Chiefs do have the home, like you're saying with your friends, it is a home game for them.
Yes.
And
by the way, the tickets are going anywhere between $600 and $2,000 a piece. I know friends of mine, they've actually found tickets for $350 a piece there. But most of the tickets I've seen are anywhere between $700-$800 if you'd like to go. I think they're having 15,000 fans. So
yeah, so it's not cheap to go to the game. I saw something where about half of the people buying the tickets were Browns fans or something like that.
Really?
So I definitely think there will be a lot of Browns fans in the stadium.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
It's still a Chiefs home game, but I think that'll be a factor.
I don't know if you've been out there before ever. Have you ever been to Kansas City? Have you?
I don't believe so. No.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of Cleveland and Ohio people like myself who moved there. And so, I mean, Kansas City and Wichita have a big following of Browns fans. I was, I think I might have told you this. I was the Browns backers president for the Wichita fan club there when I first moved out there. And Josh right now is my friend Josh and his wife. They're the president of the club now, but they meet at a sports bar in Wichita. They get about 30 to 40 people every Sunday. And the Kansas City backers club is even larger. So I imagine you're right. I think they're probably buying some of those tickets. I know Josh and his wife are going. They got tickets. So there'll be 2 Browns fans.
All right. We got at least 2.
That's right. Good. Well, I think we're talking about maybe doing another podcast with some of the other people in the group, possibly later this week. And so looking forward to that. Maybe Max the Younger can join us on that possible podcast coming up here. But so before we leave about the Browns, so I'm going to give you the name of the Brown, and I want you to give me a word or 2 that describe what you think of that Cleveland Brown. So whatever comes to mind.
Sounds good. Right.
So first Cleveland Brown, Baker Mayfield.
Leadership.
Okay. Nick Chubb.
Fierce.
Okay, here's a classic. Okay. How about Bernie Kosar?
I hate to say this, but old, because I see him as like the older guy he is now.
Yes.
Compared to like say
now,
my
Bernie
father.
Was the guy. He was my superhero, Zach. He was my suit. Like he was like what Baker is to you guys today.
Right.
My son Alec, by the way, who's up in Michigan, he goes to this school up north in that state that we don't like to talk about.
Right.
He goes to Hope College, but he told me earlier today that he lives at a house with about 4 or 5 other people, and they are all on board. They've all got on the bandwagon. They are going to be rooting for the Browns big time on Sunday. So it's good to know that we're gaining fans, even from the state up north. So, okay, another name here. How about Kareem Hunt?
Ooh, let's see.
Kareem Hunt. We'll do some music. Dun, 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 dun.
I would say it's not 1 word, but 2 words, and like second chance, because obviously he had his incident with that. We don't have to go into the details, but it ruined his original career in Kansas City.
Yes.
And the Browns, he's gained this second opportunity, and it's really worked well with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt as the 1-2 punch.
Yes.
For sure.
Kevin Stefanski.
Cool. Like in the sense of cool, calm, and collected.
Yes.
He's just very, like we were talking about, he's very mellow. He's very, nothing seems to agitate him, and he's able to just do his job, and he does it well, and it works.
Let me ask you, okay, I'm switching gears on you. I want to know, what is your favorite Cleveland sports memory? You youngin'.
Oh, wow. Well, there's the obvious, in the Cavs winning the championship.
Yes. Do you remember where you were? What were you doing?
I remember I was at home with my friends and family, and we were all watching, and it was just absolutely insane to think that a Cleveland team it was kind of the same feeling as like with this Browns playoff game.
Yes.
A Cleveland team actually won a championship, and then this time around, a Browns team actually, first of all, made the playoffs, and then won a playoff game and beat the Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes.
And all that.
We've beaten the Steelers twice. Whoa.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Crazy.
All right. So any other great memories? Any historical other games or?
So I have a memory of a Indians game where do you remember
yeah.
Bill Selby, the player
Yes.
on the Indians?
Yeah. Yeah.
When he hit that grand slam off of Mariano Rivera,
Yes.
I was at my grandma and grandpa, or we call them Bubby and Papa. I was at
Uh-huh.
their house,
Yes.
and I remember watching that game. And after he hit it, I ran to like their foyer, and
Yes.
I slipped on the floor,
Oh no.
and I banged my chin on the floor.
Oh no.
And so I'm crying like tears of joy because I'm in pain, but the Indians just beat the Yankees,
Oh my
and
gosh.
I was just a little boy at the time, and it was just an absolutely
Oh wow.
amazing, amazing.
You there? Oh, you're frozen up.
I'm sorry.
Oh, are you good?
We're good.
Okay. So I have one last question to ask you about Rocky. You're a big Rocky fan.
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa, all the movies.
Yeah.
You've always liked his movies, and I guess what I want to know is like, what are your favorite? I mean, you like them all, but how would you rank them?
Ranking?
Yeah, like if you had to rank them from like, which is your favorite? Or do you like them all? Is like Rocky 5? Is that like your number one?
No, no, no.
No.
Okay, rankings. Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 4,
Okay.
and then I would say 5, 6,
Yeah.
and then did I missed 3, right?
I think you missed 3. Is that the one with Mr. T?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I would throw 3 in where before 5 for sure.
Okay. Okay. Well, I know you're a big fan of that, and I think that's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now where do you put like the Creed movies? Do you include those like the Creed, like with Rocky in those movies? Do you because I think like the Creed, the original Creed movie where I think that's a fantastic movie.
It's a good question. So it's not that I don't think the Creed movies are fantastic.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't like about the Creed movies is the idea that the reason Creed, the character,
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan himself was created was essentially because Apollo Creed was unfaithful to his wife.
Yeah.
And had a child with another woman.
Right.
I didn't like that idea because I saw Apollo as this character, very noble, very righteous.
Yeah.
So my idea is that I get it. They needed a reason to have this movie, and so
good point.
That's the reason, and it makes sense to make that. I thought the movies themselves were pretty good.
Yes.
And I enjoyed them, but if I had one complaint, that would be it. But
okay,
I liked both the Creed movies for sure.
Excellent. Well, hey Zach, it's been really. I'm so happy that you were able to join us tonight, and I think you do a great job with this website and all the things that. Are you doing any other things outside of the Cleveland Sport Talk? That I know you said you joined another group too. You're doing some writing. Anything else that's going on?
Yeah, so like you said, I'm now part of the NEO Sports Insider, Northeast Ohio. That's with Matt Lodi.
Yes.
That's a common name in Cleveland sports. A lot of people know him. He's a great guy. Great mentor.
With him. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've really been doing Cleveland Sports Talk mainly as just a hobby, and it never was intended to be like a career of anything like that. But a lot of people, they say like, "Oh, wow, you're such a great writer," this or that.
You're a very good writer, Zach.
I appreciate the compliments, from you and from family and friends and this and that. But I never really intended to be a sports reporter as a job.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a decision I have to make. Like, do I want to do this as a career, or do I want to take this and do something else and keep this as a hobby? So we'll see. But
you're kind of in that zone where you're kind of thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely enjoy
writers. I'll keep writing for you.
Yeah. Oh, good. I definitely enjoy doing this, and we have a great group of writers, and they do a phenomenal job. So
yes. Well, hey Zach, it's really good to have you on board, and you have to partner up with me again. We'll have to do this again sometime, and I really appreciate your insight on the Browns, and we have a lot of other things we can talk about in Cleveland sports. I mean, Cleveland, we're like America's team now. Like right?
Yeah, we are.
Yes. Well, thanks for being on the Johnny Cleveland podcast. And I always finish the show by saying, everybody have a great evening. And remember to keep smiling. Everybody take care. Have a good evening. Thanks, Zach, for joining us. And we'll catch you next time. Take care.